Cheat.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
What is that?
You know the one. Good morning, everyone.
That's not rock, paper.
Make a rock.
Okay, rock.
All right, and it's like jail. All right?
Jail
Do it
doesn't
again.
count.
Octopus. What movie did we see that? Hi, it's Todd and Erin Morning Stream. I'll get our
My husband's a cheater. I just wanted you to know that.
It was one of the kids' movies that we watched, and they did rock, paper, scissors, and they did the different version where they did you're in jail or
Yeah, but it still isn't which
Mountain
is
Cam.
basically what you did.
Look how
This
light
is one
it
of my
is.
favorite things. Now, Robert J. DeBrya camera, thank you so much for that, by the way, Robert J. DeBrya and Associates, because it is gorgeous driving to work when it's sunny and then it's light outside.
As opposed
Do you remember in
to-
midwinter when it's like dark, and then you go to work, and then it's dark when you come home, and it's basically, you feel like one of those dispirited office workers in those horrible black and white films, because you never see the light of day anymore, and you're all pasty looking. That's the joy of summer. Everyone's happy. There's sunshine.
Speaking of sunshine,
Yes.
Manchester.
There were some points of light that were really beautiful in the middle of something that was incredibly dark.
There was.
One thing, just for the dark level, the decision has been raised to raise the official threat level to critical. This is like as intense as they go, and as a matter of fact, it's the first time in a decade that it's been set at the highest level. They say that
They have some intel.
when you're at this attack level, then you feel that the threat is imminent.
Right.
As a matter of fact, this just barely broke. The Manchester police say that it's very clear this was a network. He was one of several. They've already arrested 4 other people, and they believe that there is a bomb maker who was responsible for building the initial blast and is still out there.
So how did Manchester respond to this last night? Obviously, there's been visuals, all over the place. But last night was kind of cool because if you take a look, the Muslim community stepped forward.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
And the thing that was amazing about that is that there were. I talked to a friend of mine who was Muslim yesterday, and there were prayer vigils all over the world, and they tried to coordinate all of them to send a big concentrated push of love,
Right.
and try to show them as much as they could.
But this is part of the scenes that were going on across the nation.
And I thought that was incredibly courageous for people to be gathering again, because you're thinking about a threat level. But thousands
Look at
upon
this.
thousands of people came out, and they insisted on showing their love and saying, "Look, we're here, we get you, and we're not going to give this up."
And they had concerts. They had concerts in parks and stuff.
I know, it was absolutely gorgeous, which is something interesting that Daisy talked about, which is for a lot of people, this is their church, the arts and the music, and that's one of the reasons that for people who love this,
Right.
it was so shocking. So it's basically how they re-engaged that spiritual side to it as well. Turn to Love is a new hashtag that you're going to see on Twitter a lot.
Right.
And it's really inspiring pictures of people and the things that they're trying to do to offer support. The mayor of Paris, I was very moving. Anne Hidalgo wrote a gorgeous message to Manchester where she said, "First, I want to send my affection. This is a terrible moment. It's an attack on youngsters, adolescents out having fun, enjoying themselves. My thoughts go to the parents who have lost children or someone close to them and for whom the physical and psychological consequences are so heavy. But Parisians, too," she said, "have suffered attacks. We know the horrors of which people have to face, and we know what you are being plunged into right now." She said, "The messages of affection and support enabled us to raise our heads and stand tall again, and we hope that you can feel all those messages of love and support pouring into Manchester for you now." I mean, I thought that was such a beautiful way to say it, because it's
Right.
true. And if you look at all the landmark buildings, you saw some of the pictures, but they were all around the world. London's Wembley Stadium, the HSBC building in Hong Kong, the Brandenburg Gate, Florida's Orlando Eye, the Dubai skyscrapers, they all turned red, white, and blue in the shape of the Union Jack to show support.
Nice.
And it was beautiful.
Nice.
So, I mean, I don't know. That part to me is incredibly
And
inspiring.
what was the thing we were talking about a little bit yesterday about watching the people run to help?
That was the biggest deal, and Daisy brought that up too. It's actually from an old Mr. Rogers quote, and he said, "When I was a boy and terrible things happened and I was afraid, my mother would say to me, 'Look for the helpers. You can always see the people helping.'" And it's true. Once again, like so many other terrible disasters, people ran towards the scene of the disaster versus away from it because they were willing to risk themselves in order to help.
Well, I was doing fine until now. Thought I could make it through the story. So there were 2 guys and 2 friends, and they were sitting by the arena, and they heard the bomb go off. They could actually feel the breeze as it
Blast.
blast wave. And so they got up and they started running away because get the heck out of there. And then they started hearing the cries and screaming. So they stopped and they ran back. and they helped the parents. Take it.
I understand that you're verklempt. We realized what had happened, so we ran back, and all the women and the children were coming out. They were covered in blood. There was children, a lot of children with blood all over them, crying and screaming. And if I didn't help, I wouldn't be able to live with myself for running away and leaving kids like that. So we wiped blood from children's faces. There was one little girl who was covered, and I took off my shirt, and I wiped her off, and her mother realized that it was blood from her and not from her child, and she was actually happier. But this is the woman that we had to hold her legs up to try to restore her circulation and hope that we could keep her from bleeding out before the help arrived.
So let me just say this, that they were there helping. Did we mention they're homeless?
No. And that was the first thing, and he took off his coat to cover the little girl. See, this is the thing that makes it so inspiring to me.
Gathered them around, so they all felt safe together.
And see, this is the part that I love, though, because in the end, love still wins. No matter how terrible things are, you always see these things coming out of it, all these inspiring moments.
It's really dusty in here.
I know, it's those stupid
Good
allergies,
grief.
right?
You know what I need? I need something happy.
Tell me something good.
I need me.
I got the Mr. Rogers story. Do you want to hear it?
Oh yeah.
This is beautiful. Okay, so
How's this now? You saw this where?
We've been talking about Mr. Rogers, and like I said, that quote from him was all over Twitter yesterday. And so there was a guy who said, "I've got a story about Mr. Rogers." Now, Anthony Bresnikan wrote this entire series, and it's been retweeted like 2 million times.
Okay.
Fred Rogers was from Pittsburgh, my hometown, and my generation grew up loving this man who taught us to be kind above all. Fred Rogers was the real thing, that gentle soul. It was no act. Well, as I got older, I lost touch with the show, which kept running till 2001. But in college one day, I rediscovered it. I was having a hard time. I was struggling, and I was lonely. I was dealing with a lot of broken pieces, and I was not adjusting well. I went to Pitt and devoted everything I had to the school paper, hoping that would prop me into some sort of meaningful future. But he said it was easy for me to feel homeless. One span was especially bad. He said, when walking out of my dorm, I heard the familiar music of "Won't You Be My Neighbor" coming from the break room TV. The TV was still playing in an empty common room, and Mr. Roger was there asking me, what do I do with the mad I feel? Do you remember that song? How do you handle the emotions? What do you do? And Mr. Rogers sings,
here.
I know.
It's actually the speech he used in front of Congress to triple the funding for independent.
And it was a slam dunk. He said, I had lots to spare, still do. It feels silly to say it felt silly then, but I stood mesmerized. His show felt like a cool hand on a hot head. I left feeling better. Now, here's the good part. Days later, I get into an elevator at the paper to ride down to the lobby. The door's open, and Mr. Rogers is standing there.
Out.
For real. I can't believe it. I get in and he nods at me. I nod back. I think he could sense a geek out coming because, boy, I've done that too. But I kept it together. Almost. The door's open and he lets me go out first, but I turn around and say, Mr. Rogers, I don't mean to bother you, but I wanted to tell you thanks. He smiles because this has to happen to him like every 10 feet.
Right.
And he said, did you grow up as one of my neighbors? And I felt like crying and I said, yeah, I was. Dang it, why do you make me read this? Opening his arms, he lifted his satchel, set it aside, and came in for a hug. It's good to see you again, neighbor, he said. I got to hug Mr. Rogers, y'all. So I pull it together. We're walking out, and I mentioned liking Johnny Costa. He was the piano player on the show.
Oh, right.
And we made more small talk. Well, as he went out the door, I said in a kind of a rambling gush that I'd stumbled on the show again recently when I really, really needed it. So I just said, thanks for that. Mr. Rogers nodded. He paused. He undid his scarf. He motioned to the window and sat down on the ledge. This is what sets Mr. Rogers apart. Nobody else in the world would have done this. He said, do you want to tell me what's upsetting you? So I sat and I told him about my grandfather who had just died. He was one of the few good things I had had, and I felt adrift, broken-hearted. I like to think I didn't go on and on, but pretty soon he was telling me about his grandfather and a boat that the old man bought him as a kid and their experiences. Mr. Rogers asked how long ago Pap had died. It was a couple of months, and his grandfather had obviously been gone for decades. He still wished the old man was there, he said, still wished that he had the boat. And he said, you'll never stop missing the people you love. The grandfather gave Mr. Rogers the rowboat as a reward for something, I forgot what, grades or something important. He didn't have either now, but he had that work ethic that his gramps had given him, the knowledge that the old man had encouraged him with his gift. And Mr. Rogers said, those things never go away. Now, I'm sure my eyes look like stewed tomatoes. This is Anthony Bresnikan again. And finally, I said thank you and apologized if I made him late for an appointment. Sometimes you're right where you need to be, said Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers was there for me then, so here's the story on the 50th anniversary of his show for anyone who needs him now. You okay?
You're such a jerk.
I got through the
Such
story
a
without
jerk.
crying. I thought I did good.
Oh, gosh.
All right, let's move on.
No, you know what I need? I need whales blowing rainbows.
I think that's going to make everything
is
better.
what I need right now.
Everything will be better with whales.
Show
I know
me
you have it.
some whales blowing rainbows.
Oh, look. Are those humpbacks? They're beautiful.
I'm not going to misquote what they are.
That's gorgeous. So basically,
Yeah.
they caught the rainbow from the blowspout as they were doing
Right,
that
right.
massive
Sun's
surge
catching
of
the mist.
water.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Ta-da!
Oh, it's like the unicorn of whales.
Except for the
That's
unicorns,
so
it's
pretty.
coming out of their butts, and that's what makes them fly. Everyone knows that.
They do not.
They do.
You really
I
just
need-
had to ruin this beautiful, inspiring story about the whales.
I need to compose myself now.
We better go to Daisy.
It's like destroy me.
Daisy's in the Gephardt Daily newsroom, and it's brought to you by, of course, our very dear friends down at Columbus Travel. They have some amazing last-minute cruise deals. You can find them by going to columbusvacations.com. Also by our friend March at Executive Transportation. Airport, or perhaps just a cool evening out, he's got a fleet of sweet Escalades at executiveutah.com. And then, of course, our friend John, who you might be seeing soon from All Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air. This is the time to get all those air conditioners fixed, so get to it. It's allplumbing.com, allutahplumbing.com. Daisy, what's going on today?
Good morning, Todd and Erin. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Here's what's making headlines on GephardtDaily.com. Dramatic images as fast-moving fire gutted a family's home in West Valley City Tuesday evening. Crews were first called to a home at 3481 West and 2610 South around 6 p.m. When they arrived, they found the residents engulfed in smoke. And flames. Luckily, the people inside, 5 adults and 2 children, made it out safely. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. Elder Thomas S. Monson, 89-year-old president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, is effectively stepping back from the rigors of his daily duties and will no longer be attending church meetings on a regular basis. According to a church statement released Tuesday afternoon, the curtailing of President Monson's activities are, quote, incident to his age. You may remember Elder Monson was hospitalized for exhaustion following this spring's LDS General Conference. And now a quick look at the weather picture, which has been nothing short of spectacular the last couple of days. Wednesday will actually see highs in the mid-80s under partly cloudy skies until a quick storm front pushes in through late this afternoon. Temps will drop significantly overnight with highs in the 70s Thursday and Friday under sunny spring skies. That's it for now. More headlines 24/7 at GephardtDaily.com.
Thank you, oh beautiful Daisy. We appreciate you oh so much. We've been talking about Christopher's because it's kind of like our big thank you for watching the Todd and Erin morning stream, because we're kind of surprised by it all too. I think it was 1.4 million impressions since we started 12 weeks ago.
A reach or something.
That's flowing through your social media.
So this is
stream.
more people than our family just watching, and it's gotten a little
We're
weird. So
shocked by
thank
that.
you. I'm going to start dressing better. Maybe get a sponsorship.
Possibly
like
shave.
The DI.
Yeah, shave.
Probably shave.
See, I would like
Sit
to.
up
I would like to
straighter.
point out that our clothing is not our fault, because in radio it was pretty much just homeless chic. It's.
This is basically.
And now we're expected to groom. It's been a lot harder
This
for
is
us.
like 30 years of my dress code.
You're gonna have to step it up, baby.
Um,
Especially if we're actually gonna go down to Christopher's Prime Steakhouse and eat, because Melissa did invite us down. And if I don't try that lobster corn dog, I might go have an embolism because I want it that badly.
Is it a lobster corn dog
It is
or
an
a roll?
appetizer that is a lobster corn dog. And it's incredible. But in any case, you can win dinner for 4 at Christopher's Prime Steakhouse, along with transportation to and from Executive Transportation. No designated drivers. You bring 3 of your friends. You all hang out, have a wonderful time. You communicate. You connect again after heaven knows how long. And plus, you don't have to clean your own house or actually cook anything, because that would involve effort.
And then you go home and your kids are asleep, and
It's wonderful.
then you go to sleep.
All you have to do to enter to win the contest is just go on to any one of our Facebook pages. You can see us on Todd and Erin on Facebook, Gephardt Daily, Gephardt Approved. Just like the page, comment on the show today, and share your enter to win. We draw every Friday.
Or we could be lurking outside your living room window
That's entirely possible.
if we have time.
There's a lot of windows.
All the emotion this morning, and you made me cry. I need a good shot of testosterone.
You need something manly.
I need machinery and the men who run them. Let's go.
I want the baby steamroller. I want to drive that. Didn't that look like fun?
Why do we call them steamrollers?
You could squish things. Well, in the old days, I guess it was. I don't know what they call them now.
Roll compactors.
Something more professional. But I want to drive that. Didn't that look cool? And I would put things underneath it, like watermelons and stuff.
Oh,
because you got to try it.
Laptops that
You gotta
don't work
try it,
anymore.
right? My cell phone that I hate so much.
That'd be great.
I want the baby steamroller.
All right. So coming up, we
need to
have.
get it.
Oh, you should talk about
All Utah.
plumbing. You know what their job is? They're water containment people. They're water containment. Water is going to be on the inside of things, and they make sure that's the way it stays. Like a pipe, the water stays on the inside.
Not your entire basement floor.
Right. Your toilet. It starts there, and it goes through a contained pipe to the street. They can do that too.
Now, if you're looking, you're seeing John actually pull up to our house, and did you see the look of utter aggravation on his face?
He goes, "Oh, you're here again, Todd. What'd you break?" And so we fixed toilets and showers and sprinklers and all those great things. So if you're looking for help, All Utah Plumbing, Heating and Air and Faucets and Leaks and Tiles and Remodeling, and they're licensed for everything. So check them out. Coming up next,
Yes.
I am going to solve with us as well
Really?
a discussion, an argument that has been going on since the history of man. The
Are you
history of
kidding?
man. It has caused conflict. I'm sure divorces have happened because of this, and we're going to straighten it out once and for all, and it's coming up next.
Merit Medical. Why work for fast food wages when you can start at Merit for a whole lot more? Merit Medical. Great products, great people, a great company. Learn more at merit.com/careers. The law offices of Robert J. DeBry and Associates, with offices in Salt Lake City, Sandy City, and St. George. Check them out at robertdebry.com. The Todd and Erin morning stream is actually available anytime at gephardtdaily.com. Just click on the Todd and Erin page.
All right, so there's been a problem, a brewing.
Up there in the hills? What?
Jill Jid's millionaire. There's been an argument, as long as there's been this product out there, there's been an argument about on the toilet paper, does it roll over or does it roll under?
There have been divorces over this. There
There
have been
probably
roommates
has.
who have gone into fist fights. Yeah.
They weren't really steady marriages, though. They're really iffy anyway, and it was either
Sometimes it was the last straw, though.
That's it. It's over. And so basically what you need to do is you need to go back and look at the original design of this, and that you would go to the patent office.
S. Wheeler. I had no idea. That was a
Yes.
perfect name.
Wheeler, right?
Patented September 15th, 1891. And you will clearly see that the toilet paper roll is over.
Over.
Look at that adorable little toilet paper holder. It's got like the little metal hands.
I'm an over. Are you an over?
I don't care.
So we have
I've got so many other things to worry about.
So we have solved it. We have solved this.
Do you realize that you have saved marriages? This is like answering the time-honored questions of like the chicken or the egg. You know, whether the tree actually made a sound in the forest when it fell. You have brokered world peace.
World peace, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking of toilets, you know what we need? We need John.
John, have you finished your coffee? Get in here.
Do you have your tools, John?
Do we really want John to...
Do you have your tools? We're going to talk to you some more. We'll come back to you. All right. We're going to go back to him in a little bit.
See, this is why I love John. You know he's out there, and he probably has his guitar in his truck somewhere, and he's obviously playing right now, doing some sort of heavy metal riff in his head.
He's a heavy metal dude.
I know,
Coming up next. Guy gets shot in the head with an arrow.
That seems like a problem.
That's all I'm going to say. It's next. And so I'm going to go get John.
Go to executiveutah.com. And All Utah Plumbing. Your home deserves the best. 24-hour emergency service at allutahplumbing.com. And by Columbus Travel, the best travel deals on the planet. Be sure to take advantage of our April sale. columbusvacations.com. Did you know you can catch the Todd and Erin morning stream any time of the day or night on Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud, and gephardtdaily.com?
Hey there, how are you? Todd and Erin, morning stream, gephardtdaily.com. Did you see, before
I'm giving her the choice
of
tool
to
hit you with.
me?
That's what she said.
See, the good part is if I use that one, I can also strangle him with the
Yes.
cord at the same time.
Right, here, I'll
See,
get
you've
it.
been thinking, okay,
I'll get it ready.
I gotta be honest, what on earth is this?
Okay, so what that does is I can check gas pressure with this.
Oh, colonoscopy. Right. Got it.
Right.
Got it. Gas pressure.
Right.
Yeah.
I actually do have a camera, but,
Oh, I'm sorry,
but that's
Johnny.
for furnaces. We're really concerned about air conditioners right now.
Okay.
And so what this tool does here is I can put this into a gas valve and check the pressure.
Okay.
That helps us for the winter.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
what does that tell us?
It's
Just
gonna-
that it's working?
No. This way, if I need to adjust it, makes it burn more efficiently and safer. And so it does that. But the cool thing for air conditioning is there's 2 spots. Now I can be in how the air goes like this through your home.
Right.
Okay. I can check both sides
Okay.
to see the pressures. And now I know, hey, are we moving enough air? A lot of complaints is I'm not comfortable, I'm not blah, blah, blah.
Oh, that's really
so I need to
smart.
check the pressure.
Are-
and then that's just a meter,
Are all-
which I use to check the components.
Are all important tools in plumbing yellow?
Yeah, what is that?
You know what? I spray paint them.
Oh, they do. Okay.
No, it's
Yeah,
just the
yeah.
brand. It's the brand, but you know.
Now, just because I'm a mother and I'm paranoid and I'm fairly certain everything is out to kill my children, what is like the one, you know what I mean, but what is like the one thing that you do see in homes that you're like, hey, we have to fix this? Are there dangerous gases? Are there scary emissions? Are there leaks that are really screwing things up that we may not know about?
Right. Okay. So, shower pan leaks.
Oh.
That begins the remodel. Well, many times, once I start doing the remodel, I'll pull that up. Mold.
Oh, man.
Mold. We don't like that.
Been
Now,
there, done this.
usually it's not a dangerous type, but we don't want mold in our home.
No.
Now, back to equipment. Air conditioning, mostly it's going to make you uncomfortable and cost you a ton of money. You know, I mean, for the cost of, we charge $69 is all. We come out and we check everything, clean it, check the components, the whole bit. Many times getting them up and running correctly.
Right.
That's going to pay for itself through the season.
Oh,
Just,
I mean,
the,
it's
not even
just
Oh,
the
yeah.
efficiency.
Right.
Right.
Now the furnaces, that's where we get really in depth as we went over with
Right.
the camera, visual, using this tool, that tool, all these things, because that can produce carbon monoxide if
yeah.
it's burning incorrectly. Well, sometimes that's not so bad because it's just going up the vent. But if there's other problems, it can get into your home. Now that's dangerous.
Now, the thing you were talking about, that where the fire actually happens, the combustion chamber, if that has a crack in it, then you're in major trouble.
Yeah, it can be potentially trouble.
Right.
Now, us with our license, we have to say, hey, it's cracked. No, because if something did happen, if I pass that furnace off and I walk away,
Right.
and somebody gets hurt in the home,
So you turn it, and I heard this story. You turn it off, and the homeowner said, "Well, I don't really have to fix that." And you said, "I'm leaving, and I'm turning that off, and any liability, it's going to be on you for your family's health and safety."
correct.
So if they didn't
just-
choose to fix it,
He just wanted you to like patch it up and move on or something, and you're like, dude.
Yeah, it
it's
happens
like-
quite a bit. Why are you turning it off? And I'm like, well, I can't leave it on. You can do what you want, but I don't recommend you use it. And that's about it. No big deal. But the biggest thing people get from us at All Utah Plumbing and Heating
And air.
and air and remodeling and
Right,
sprinklers
right.
Everything else in the world.
is honesty. That's our whole reputation that we're trying to build is honest, straightforward.
right?
Just being real with people. You're gonna get wants, needs. That's what it is. And then after that is what else can we do? Well, fast service, all these things.
Right.
And so with that, I mean, we're not the most expensive, but we're not the least expensive. That's for sure.
But
You know, it's
because
funny. I actually got a phone call from a girlfriend who called you guys after. I think that she was getting something serviced. I can't remember now because I ignored most of the conversation until she said all Utah. And I went, oh, did you like them? And apparently, whoever you sent was awesome. Her toddler sat there and stared at him the entire time he was there. But he was really sweet and calm, nice to the kid. I guess he blazed through. I think it was an air conditioner tune-up. But he actually even told her, oh, you don't need this. This is all you need. And she was like, so the bill was like half what she expected because she was kind of braced for like something is broken
there
and you're
we
all going
go.
to die. And no, but she was really surprised and she goes, I was more appreciative that he more or less tolerated my child for 2 hours.
I wonder
awesome.
if that was Coy. Coy's awesome.
Yeah.
If it was the air conditioning, I do them as well. But
You wouldn't tolerate a toddler for 2 hours.
No. No, I'm just joking.
No, you've tolerated our Zoe. I know you can.
And to wrap this up, I got to say that one of the biggest things is the fact that talking about expensive and all that stuff. You fix it like once.
That is the plan. That's why we have a 2-year warranty on everything. You know, that 98% of everything we do has a 2-year warranty.
I did not know that.
You know, and then our equipment that we sell, if someone happens to need or want a new air conditioner, furnace, something like that, that has a 10-year parts and labor warranty on it. You do have to have it serviced every year, or it's going to break. I mean, come on, you like your car, you got to service it.
And I got to work with some of the equipment when we were filming one of the segments, and
you let him play with the
They
toys?
have a thing that goes down your sewer. It's got a light on it,
Just a little.
and it's got a light and a camera, and you're shoving it down into the sewer, and it's great. And I wound it back up, and I was looking at the end of it, and he goes, "Todd, that's been in the sewer."
Yeah.
And there was a lot of hand washing after that. All right, thanks, sir.
Hey, thank you.
All right.
It was awesome seeing you guys.
All right, well, coming up-
very good.
Coming up next, a guy gets shot in the head with an arrow. We're gonna get to that next.
We're brought to you this morning by Executive Transportation. Elegant service, professional style. Go to executiveutah.com. And All Utah Plumbing. Your home deserves the best. 24-hour emergency service at allutahplumbing.com. And by Columbus Travel, the best travel deals on the planet. Be sure to take advantage of our April sale. columbusvacations.com. Did you know you can catch the Todd and Erin morning stream any time of the day or night on Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud, and GephardtDaily.com.
The beautiful. We have a mountain cam going on today, which is basically what we have behind us anyway.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
except this one doesn't have the scary. Well, it could have scary birds.
Oh,
in
it's
it.
Robert J. DeBry and Associates mountain cam, by the way, because you want something serene and something calm, and I think most attorneys would like to be associated with calm and serene.
All right, there is something coming up in Sotheby's auction that you might be interested in. And basically, they're expecting this to go for a lot of money, but it's got a strange thing. Guess what that is?
Lunar sample return is that?
Yeah.
Oh, like moon rocks, something like that.
This is what went to the moon with Neil Armstrong, okay? And then they brought back the samples, and NASA took them out. And this got set aside 1969, I believe.
So it's
it
got
was.
moon dust in it.
As a matter of fact, it does. And it has crumbles of moon rocks and stuff like that.
That is so cool.
Yes, that they decided because of that, because of where it went, that it became a priceless museum artifact.
I've got to be honest with you. When I first saw lunar sample return, I thought it was another kind of sample.
Oh.
I'm like, they're not really auctioning off.
No, that would be
That,
plastic.
right, 'cause
That'd be plastic.
You know what though? The weirdest things become souvenirs now, and I'm never sure anymore. Like coffee cups
Right.
that rock stars have drunk from in our studios,
Yuck.
and we ended up auctioning them off for charity. Remember
that's
that
true.
one?
Yeah.
Who was? It was like Michael Bolton or somebody, and his coffee cup went for like $400. I mean, it was
David
like,
Archuleta.
Oh, it was Josh Groban. That's right.
Right, him too. So the priceless museum artifact got misplaced.
Uh-oh.
There was a mix-up. They labeled it wrong, and it disappeared.
So
There's more. So a lady is at an auction, and she sees it, and she goes, "Well, that's kind of interesting." So she bids $995 and wins the bag. This is when the courts come in.
oh no.
So the Apollo 11 artifact is now in private hands, which the federal government does not think it should, and they take it. They take it back.
Possession is 9/10 of the law. She bid on it fair and square. It's not her fault they mislabeled it.
Even if you did have to return it, wouldn't you empty all the dust out and put it in a moon globe? So basically, that's when the battle began.
Okay, that seems like no take-backsies. That's very unfair.
2013, it turned up at a garage sale. She bought it. She owned it. The courts decided that it's hers. And so it now goes up for auction. And they are expecting, how much? How much would you pay for let's say you have too much money.
Well, if it's Neil Armstrong, you have to remember there's a historical element to this as well as the fact that, it's from the freaking moon. So, I mean,
Right.
you're talking
The first moon shot.
tens of thousands at least,
And
right?
there's probably video of it, too. There's probably
Yeah,
video of
yeah.
it, of him collecting rocks and stuff.
I would think tens of thousands of dollars.
Right.
How much?
4 to 5 million.
What?
45 million. You say it like that because it's just like, I have too much money. 4 or 5 million. I'll take that.
45 million.
No, 4 or 5.
Oh, 4
but
or 5.
But that's still 4
no,
or 5.
No, that's an insane amount of money.
Right.
In the millions?
Uh-huh. Like you said, it is one of a
Wow.
kind. It is unbelievable. It is history.
That is true. And in certain ways, it's even more exciting than if you just had the one little polished rock sitting and it's like a
Right.
little lucite stand because it's just sort of sterile and it's sitting there. But if you've got the big messy bag, that is out there clomping with him in his spacesuit and he's like throwing stuff in it, that would, to me, would be the most epic.
Wouldn't that be
part.
cool to see a movie? I think they used film back then, didn't they?
Oh, yeah, they did.
And to see the bag actually getting rocks put in it.
I know.
Do you know that NASA has lost and misplaced over 3 pounds of moon rocks?
But how do you misplace something like that?
Hey, it's from the moon. I'll just sit over here with my phone, walk away.
These are all the smart guys. How are they misplacing things?
I don't know, but the federal government chases down people who advertise online, and they go and get them.
Oh, so basically they didn't lose them. People were taking them home in their pockets.
I think they just had them laying around, and people walked through and went, "Oh, moon rock would be cool," and they put it in their pocket, and off they go. And then they suddenly realize what it was, how much it's worth, and they advertise it, and then the feds show up, and that's awkward,
Yeah. We want that back.
right?
Yeah.
This next story, where is this next story? Oh, here it is.
Oh, arrow in the head?
Arrow in the head.
Okay, now you've been bragging about this for like 2 days. What is this story?
All right. Let's say authorities, and there's a clue in this. There's a clue here. Authorities responded shortly after midnight to the victim's home. What's the clue there? Midnight. Why? Because what happens late at night when
Marital altercations.
or guys getting together?
Oh, and the immortal redneck phrase, "Hey y'all, watch this."
Hold my beer.
Yeah, yeah. Is that pretty much what happened? Oh no.
That was yesterday.
All
We
right.
don't need that. All right, so
We're really using the whiteboard again?
yeah, I want to get this right. It's from Arkansas, and every time we start doing stories like this, I get a southern accent. I'm not sure why. All right, so this is the guy, and he is here, okay? And there is his legs. This is not an actual picture. This is a drawing, so I want you to keep that in mind. And here he is, and he's doing happy nights, midnight. And then here's his friend right here, and he's a little taller, and he's got a bow and arrow.
Oh,
Okay.
this can't
and
end well.
this guy's looking like this, and here's his ear, and he's got crazy hair and little male pattern baldness going on there. And so he basically, I made the arrow pointing the wrong way. All right, so he at midnight decides that this guy needs an arrow in his head. You see, so he shoots.
Oh,
that.
so this was an intentional action that you should have an arrow in your head, not like I'm trying to hit that apple off the top of it or something?
This guy ends up with an arrow in his head like that.
You have to change his face because he's not smiling anymore.
Well, no, I'm going to do this here. You know in the hospital when they say, "How do you feel?" and they put up all these faces, and they go like this, and there's like 10 of them, right? And then they say, "Oh," and this would be one. And so it's like, "I'm happy. I'm okay happy. I'm neutral. I'm getting bad. Oh my gosh." Blah, like that. So he was thinking like right around here, okay? So what he did was he got into his car like this, and I hope it was a convertible because I'm not sure.
I'm not sure you'd have to like drive with your head sideways, right?
So here's his head and the arrow, and I hope it was like this so it's aerodynamic, and he drove himself to the hospital.
The concept of 911 didn't occur to him?
No, and he went to the hospital, and they pulled the arrow out of his head. I think this explains everything we need here, and that's what. Don't do this. Don't shoot yourself or your friend. Shoot you in the head with an arrow, and it was sticking out, and he drove himself to the hospital. You know what that is?
I'm not rather sure to applaud him for his manliness or smack him with the arrow again because he drove himself to the hospital.
That, my friends, is a can-do attitude. That's what that is. Can you imagine walking into the emergency room? Because they see everything. But an arrow sticking out of your head.
That's pretty good.
That's fun. And I think the face of how the pain is going.
I think that was a really powerful description.
I really think
I think that really helped.
took it over the top.
Uh-huh. Very visual,
All
visceral
right,
way
so
of storytelling.
we've got an arrow in someone's head. I can make it worse. Are you ready for the next story?
It won't matter if I am or not. You're still going to do it, so go
Yes,
ahead.
I am. So this guy's in the hospital.
Oh, good. We're back there again.
Got no arrow in his head. He's got some love in his heart, though.
Okay.
So it's in Russia. So this guy is in, and he wants to marry the nurse because he knows her and their boyfriend and girlfriend. And he's in the hospital, had a terrible accident, but he's doing fine. And so he said, you know, it would be really fun if I could get engaged in the hospital because I don't want to wait another minute.
Well, yeah, but life is short, you know, and he's had
Right.
this terrifying accident. And
Right.
if the woman he loves is there. Sure, I can see
So
that.
he convinces the doctor. He already had the ring. Mm-hmm. So he convinced the doctor to put the ring into a wound that he had, like that.
Are you kidding me?
Love.
He had an abdominal wound, and
Isn't it great?
the surgeon agreed to put the ring in there?
Yeah.
So,
And so, here's the best part. So,
what, like it's a pocket or something? What that?
So what they did, well, it's a wound, you know, it's a wound. And so basically what they did is they set her up and they said, well, it's your turn to go change the bandage on the wound. And she opened it up and there it was. Then they washed it off and they embraced. They washed it off really good. And then they had a nice hug. Look, that's love. With
No, that's horrifying.
with a wound.
No, she's not hugging him. She's passed out. Okay, can I just say something about abdominal wounds, even with an incision
Sure.
that looked as relatively small as that?
Right.
You have to remember that the stomach is a very large gaseous area where there's several feet of intestine that transfer a lot of gas and waste and all kinds of bile and other byproducts throughout the abdominal area. There's no way you can have an abdominal wound without a violent sense of smell and activity and gurgling, and you pretty much smell like your own gigantic walking poop until the abdominal wound has healed. So basically, he stuck a ring in there, and he was waiting for the romantic moment.
You know,
He may as well have just taken her to one of those rest station byways and gone right into one of the chemical toilets and just proposed to her right there. It would have been just about as romantic and probably slightly less queasy.
every party has a pooper. That's why we invited her. You harshed my mellow on the whole love story.
There's nothing loving about that. That's so creepy.
Could have been
And
worse.
you know I like creepy. That's
Yeah.
the trouble.
Could have been worse. It could have been a colonoscopy kind of moment, but
It pretty much was. It's pretty much all in the same area anyway.
you're still number one in my heart. All right. We need some more
Who have I
testosterone.
married?
I don't know. You're a strange dude. Now I'm talking to myself. Let's leave today with some testosterone charged visuals. We're Todd and Erin on the morning stream. We're disgusting today. GephartDaily.com.